Hey, you're back listening to the Get Out of Debt Guy show. I'm already laughing because, the show you're in for. we, we,
So,
we,
so good, we don't even know.
no need to talk about it, Damon. We'll just do the show. I'm Steve Rode,
Yes.
otherwise known as the other guy, the old Get Out of Debt Guy. With me, as always, is the guy you can locate at DamonDay.com. DamonDay.com. Damon Day. He's the new Get Out of Debt Guy. And Damon, as I said right before I hit record, we'll figure it out.
Well, I was just thinking, you call me the new get out of debt guy,
Yeah.
but how many years, so I've been doing this 20, 25
Yeah.
years. When do I just become the get out of debt guy? So the new get out, it almost makes it sound like I just started.
When I die.
I got training wheels.
No, when I die.
Oh, great. That's awesome. And then this show will stop because I won't have an editor.
Oh. By that point, it'll do it all for yourself. It'll be click, and it'll be done.
That's right. Steve, I need you to live long enough until Claude can take over your duties from me.
Well, that can be arranged.
Well, he's trying to invest for you right now.
Yeah, so we'll talk about the investing experiment that's going on. Big changes in that today. We'll talk about why there was no podcast yesterday when it was our regularly scheduled day. We're going to talk about...
We did the podcast.
Yeah. Life.
You just don't get to hear it.
Life didn't hear it. And we'll talk about some of our debt frustrations and things that are going on. So if you're not subscribed yet, here's your PSA. Hit the damn button, follow, and subscribe. And all right.
And maybe we'll talk about a little investing too.
Yeah.
People need to invest.
So what do you want to lead off with?
Why don't we start off with VOO?
VOO. Okay, let's talk about investing. So the big change is... Let me get that solicitor off my Ring camera.
Yeah, Steve called me this morning. He had to scare away a siding salesman from his porch.
Yeah, I got 2 no soliciting signs, right? One, a huge one right above the doorbell. So I had to tell the guy, look, do you not see the sign? I'm not trying to be obnoxious, but do you need an optician?
Yeah. It's like, I don't need anybody coming to my door to tell me what he thinks or she thinks I need.
Right.
We live in a day and age where if I have something in my brain that I think I might need something, I've got a little thing in my pocket.
Yeah.
That can tell me everything I need to know about whether or not I need that one thing.
Well, I mean,
I don't need some guy walking around my neighborhood telling me that he just helped Johnny down the street, so he just happened to be in the neighborhood, and he was running a special just today only.
Well,
get off my porch.
The alert was, man on hoverboard on your driveway.
You're like, oh?
Yeah, I know what the hoverboard
hey, Marty
means.
McFly.
Yeah.
It's Marty. I got Marty here.
All the solicitors come by one wheel in my neighborhood because there's so much room between houses.
One wheel. Get off my lawn.
Yeah,
That's how you know I'm not the new get out of it guy. Get off my lawn guy. I got a gray beard, bro.
Oh God, I hate all the roofing guys because the pitch is...
Especially after a storm.
Oh, the pitch is always the same. We can find there's enough damage on your roof that your insurance company will cover it for free. And so, speaking
if not, we'll make it.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, speaking of, you got that device in your pocket. So the last time somebody accidentally caught me outside and hit me up with that pitch,
See, don't go outside, children.
Yeah.
Stay inside.
Stay inside.
It's dangerous out there.
Guard your wife, guard your kids, whatever that is.
Hide your wife, hide your kids. They're raping everybody out here.
Here comes the roofing salesman. So I took pictures of my roof and I sent them to ChatGPT and Claude and said, I want you to evaluate my roof because this is what the person said. And they went, no. Your roof's in good shape. So I even went the step further and contacted my insurance broker, not my insurance company, my insurance broker, who I can talk to without them telling the insurance company that I had a question. And I said to the insurance broker, look, these roofing guys come around all the time and they're telling me this, and they went, that's just not true. You can't, you know, we've seen them like go up on a roof and pull up some shingles and then say that's storm damage. And
Yeah, 100%.
yeah, I mean, no insurance company is going to go, oh, you got a dented shingle? Here's a new roof.
Well, you know, I had an AC HVAC guy come out. We've been in this house like 3 years now, right? And you know, I haven't had the AC ever like looked at or anything. And this house was built in 15, so it's, you know, it's what is that, 11 years old or so, give or take. So, you know, the air conditioners out here in Arizona, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, you know what, it's probably a good idea have one of these AC guys come out and give it a, you know, they offer, you know, $25 tune-up service per unit or whatever, right? Like check it out, blow off the whatever, I don't know, like make sure it keeps running good.
So
right?
you're telling me
So
you wanted to get blown? Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, well, you know, once a year, it's pretty good. You know, it's recommended. My birthday. No, just kidding. I digress. What kind of a show is this, Steve? So he comes out. He's a nice guy and everything, and he does his service, and he goes, "Man, these are looking really good for being as old as they are." Kind of like, I'm like, "Oh, okay, good, sweet." And I thought like he was gonna actually like do some things to like service them, keep them going, or whatever.
Yeah.
And he didn't do anything, but he got his iPad out and proceeded to tell me all the things that he noticed that needed to be addressed.
All the upcharges,
right?
yeah.
And then when it's all said and done, he's doing all this stuff, and you know, well, you know, this could be going out, and this could be this, and this could, and the AC's working fine, by the way, right? So, but of course, it's July, you know, going into July and stuff. But he's doing all this stuff, and this bill is getting up to like, so if we do all these recommendations, it's like $20,000, you know, and I'm like,
no,
I was like spending $50 on getting my AC tuned up. It's working fine, but I want to do the responsible thing. I thought I was going to spend $50, and this guy's trying to like, you know, here's your $20,000. And then I was just curious, and I was just like, well, you start spending, and maybe it wasn't 20, maybe the first bid was like 10 or something, but it was at a point where I was like, well, how much would new units be? Like you cross a certain point where you go, you know, everybody's putting lipstick on a pig, or you spend 7, 8, 9, 10,000, and so, the new units were $30,000, like for 2 units and all the stuff. And then he hits me up with, he goes, "Were you in the military?" And I said, "No." And he goes, "Well, we have a
military discount."
Military discount. And he goes, and this is how I knew the guy was total bullshit. He then goes, because he's like, "Were you in the military?" I go, "No, I was not in the military." "Anybody in your family in the military?" And I was like, "Well, yeah, I've had." And he's like, "And I'm sure you know people that were in the military, right?"
Yeah.
And I'm like, "Yeah." He's like, "Yeah, I can get you that discount." So basically, the discount is bullshit. You never were going to charge me as much as you told me. Like, get the hell out of my house. I mean, I was nice about it and everything, but like, dude, get out of here.
Yeah.
You gotta hide your kids, hide your wife, man. They're out there. They're everywhere, especially in debt relief. I full circled it.
That's pretty good.
Watch out for them debt relief salesmen. They do the same
they're all
thing.
Commission, you know, bullshit.
Oh, gosh, it's exhausting. Like, you never know. Everywhere you turn, it's like I've gotten to the point in my old wisdom, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's that if anybody comes to my door or calls me, I don't want it, I don't need it, and I don't want to pay for it.
That's the exact same thing that applies to debt relief. If somebody called you, texted you, or sent you a notice, that is a sales pitch. That doesn't mean you need it or it's right for you or anything else. I had a client once, I've told this story before, and she was just living paycheck to paycheck, and she woke up one morning and her hot water heater went out. So she called a plumber. And the guy came out and said, "Yeah, you need a new water heater. This one's out." Sold her a new water heater, $700 or something like that. And turns out the circuit breaker had just flipped.
Yeah. You know, I've got a good electrician out here. This is an embarrassing story, but I'll go ahead and tell it because I just, you know, I like if I can help the people.
Yeah,
right?
the peeps.
So I have the outlets in my garage weren't working, and this is how we just moved into this house, you know, 3 years ago. This was 3 years ago, and I'm handy enough, and I'm like, okay, all these, you know, it wasn't just one outlet. It was all of them in the garage, in the kitchen wall next to the garage. So I'm like, all right, it's got to be a breaker. Go check. No, all the breakers are fine. And so then I'm going around, okay, it's got to be a GFI. And I'm going around, can't find it. I found one, pushed that wasn't it. I swear. So I was like, dude, I don't know what's going on. So I called the electrician out. he comes out. He was there for 2 minutes. He goes to, and I don't even understand if my brain just broke or what. But there's there's two outlets in the garage. One's on the ceiling where the garage door is plugged in, and one's on the back wall. And it's a GFI. And I swear I pushed it.
Yeah.
He goes in, he pushes it, everything works.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, I know this is very embarrassing, but I swear to you, I already tried that. And he goes, now I get it. It happens all the time. He goes, I feel really bad. I have to charge $300 for the trip.
Yeah.
Is there anything else I can look at for you? Like, it's like, dude, I feel like it wasn't his company. Like, he worked for the, so he's like, I have to charge for the trip. Can I do anything else while I'm here?
Yeah. Right.
And I was like,
did you come up with anything?
I'm an idiot. No, there was nothing else I knew about. Although he did save my butt again, because my wife wanted to get a spa in the back corner of our yard, but the spa was like 100 feet from the panel.
Yeah.
And so I was like, well, let's just get like a 110 spa where, it's not as good, but you don't have to run 240, 100 feet and dig up the whole yard and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And I was like, they're cheaper. They're not as good, but it's a tub with hot water in it.
Right.
Let's look at that. And I knew I already had power out under the gazebo out there. So I had my electrician come out because he had to install some fans on the back patio. And so I was there. He's like, I was like, hey, can I just get a 110 spa and plug it in here? And he's like, well, no, you can't, because there's these other things running off it. It needs to be a dedicated thing. So you'd have to have a dedicated one. I can't you wouldn't be able to plug it off this. It wouldn't work. And he's looking at it and he goes, I'm surprised there's not an actual outlet out here. There's power out here. And I was like, I know, right? And I was like, but I looked. It's not here. And it's the same guy that came out. And he goes, you want me to look for you? I'm like, sure. A minute later, in my defense, it was behind the gazebo and there was a prickly bush in the way. But there was a damn stub coming out of the ground in one of those, outdoor, heavy duty outlet boxes. He goes, yeah, you can just plug it in right here. I'm like, thank you. Glad you're on the job. But at least he was there for something else that time. So that was just a bonus find. I didn't have to pay for $300 for him to go, yeah, that one right there.
I had to pay $100 for a locksmith to come out because I couldn't get my sliding doors to open. I couldn't get them to unlock.
Wait, Steve, is this the story from like 20 years ago that's really funny? No. You got to tell that story.
Which one's that?
When you locked yourself out? You locked yourself out? And you were having to ram the door and tell that story.
No.
Yeah. Oh, come on. I told my I can't push the button story. I mean, I had all my clothes on.
Yeah, this is the story where I was home alone.
That's how it starts.
Yeah, I was home alone, and
my wife was gone.
I was in my underwear. I had to go down in the basement to like flip a breaker or something. So I went down, and the basement door locked behind me. And thankfully, there's an exterior basement door, but I'm in my underwear. So I go out the door. I run around the back of the house, and there's no door open. So I'm on the side of the house. And I don't know if it was nerves or whatever, but dude, I had to do a number 2, like bad. And so now my choice is, trying to ram the door, because there's woods all around my house, but I have an aversion to shitting in the woods. So can you imagine my neighbor looking out the window? I'm just in my underwear taking a dump in the woods.
So instead, you chose door number 2.
I tried to ram the door and stuff, and now my shoulder hurts. I've lost my dignity. My shoulder hurts, and I still got to take a dump. And so that wasn't going to work. Finally, I figured out if I could push on the top of the door hard enough, I could release the latch and get the door to open. And I ran inside so fast. So now you can bet that every time I go down to the basement, I leave the door cracked.
I would have just taken the knob off, bro. Like, why do you need a lock on the basement door, underwear man?
Oh, that was totally humiliating. I remember standing outside next to the garage, and my neighbors can see me at that point, thinking to myself, can this get any worse? and then trying to open the door. I went, yeah.
911, what's your
Yeah.
emergency? There's some naked guy trying to break into my neighbor's house.
Oh, wait, he's taking a
Yeah,
dump.
if you could bring a unit, that'd be great. He took a shit and now he's trying to break into his house. He probably needs toilet paper.
Yeah, bring extra. and while you're at it, bring a box of Dignity.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, because we lost it on the show.
yeah, a long time ago. So my story was I had to call a locksmith, couldn't get these patio doors open. Guy charges me $100 to come out. He comes out and he just pulls them closer together and turns the key and it unlocks.
Because it was like stuck.
Well, it was a new set of doors. And he goes, yeah, you know what? This manufacturer catches people up all the time with that. You got to, clinch them together and then it'll unlock easy. I went, here's your $100. I'm going to pay this stupid tax.
Yeah. Yeah. He's like, I got to deal with this manufacturer. They call me all the time.
Yeah. Okay. Last non-related story. Had a plumber come, did the same sort of upsell like you were just describing with the AC.
Yeah.
And I looked at the sales guy and I went, here's $40 cash. What do I really need? He goes, nothing.
Yeah. Well, the other part of that HVAC was, he gave me the whole, right now the prices, it's going into summer, the prices are the best they've ever been. If this does go out in July, not only are you not going to have an AC, but, we get backed up and it's going to be a lot more expensive. And it's just like, you know what? Yeah. Or these things might last another 5 damn years.
Yeah.
So it's like, but they get you with that scare tactic of, oh, you don't want to be in the house without AC. And well, no shit, but under that logic, should I buy a new unit every damn year just to make sure,
HVAC guy came out, it wasn't working. And he goes, you got a bug on your circuit board. And I went, is that a defect? And he goes, no, you got a bug. One of those giant outdoor roaches electrified himself on the board. Okay, so
salespeople. That's the lesson of the day, folks. Watch out for sales. Salespeople are very expensive. Cost you money.
Yes. Yeah. Okay. Well, hopefully we've passed on some wisdom there. So let's talk about investing. The investing experiment that's going on right now is, when you're getting out of debt, there are two components to it, both reducing your debt and saving money at the same time. You cannot let time go by without saving something. So on the getoutofdebt.org site, I've got this AI bot running, trading money, my cash, and trying to find out if there's an easy way to maximize your returns and beat the boring old stock market index fund. And so Damon's put $1,000 in a VOO, it's VOO, it's a Dow index fund. And then I got my bot trading. So we both started with $1,000. What is your balance right now, Damon?
So right now, if you Google VOO, I'm at the stock is at, or the ETF is at 674, and I bought at 690. So my current balance in my Vanguard account is 678.46. So I'm down almost 22.
No, wait, not 678
in a week.
What
did I say? 978. Sorry. You'd be like, don't put money in that.
Okay.
Yeah, 978. I'm down $21.50.
Okay, we started on Monday.
We started on Monday.
Okay.
Today is Friday when we're.
Okay, so my AI bot is at 1,114.
So if you just took a snapshot as of right now, Claude's kicking VOO's ass.
Yeah, well,
for the first 4 days.
Yeah, so I woke up at 4 o'clock this morning and wondered, I haven't tested every research, every stock trading strategy out there, like quants, day trading, signals, everything else. So I launched a whole 3-hour research session at 4 o'clock this morning, comparing all of those strategies, day trading, the empirical formulas, the strategies, everything else. And what it came back with was some very interesting stuff that I'm using now to write a series about this. But I know you wouldn't be surprised, but 97% of day traders lose
their ass.
Lose their ass, 97%. And there is no other trading strategy that beats the Dow Index Fund over 20 years. Now, I'm beating you right now this
Oh
week.
yeah, this is a 4
Yeah,
days only,
it
so
doesn't mean
it's a
anything.
very small
Yeah,
window.
doesn't mean anything. But when you look at the rate of return over 20 years in a Dow Index Fund, it's like 700%. It's
Yeah.
ridiculous. And it's so easy for somebody to do. Now, there are investment vehicles that I talk about. I'm for the trading platform for this experiment, I'm using Robinhood, but there's savings platforms like Betterment or Acorns. Acorns is a great platform. Damon and I both use it, where you can sweep up your pocket change and it'll invest it. And here's the best part: if you contact Damon at damonday.com, he can give you a referral code where you can open an account and get free money put in your account.
Well, that's great for me, and I would certainly appreciate it if you want to do that. You do technically get free money, but in full disclosure, it's like $5 Acorns gives you. But you help a brother out. I could use the extra referral fee.
Yeah.
So if you want to go to damonday.com, even if you don't need to talk to me about your debt and you're just going to sign up for Acorns and you fill out my form and just say, hey, can you shoot me that referral fee? I'd be happy to do it. Like I said, you put $5 in your investment account to get started, and Acorns matches it, but it does give me a referral fee. So if you enjoy our podcast, you find me funny or informative or whatever, I'll take the Acorns referral
Yeah,
fee.
well,
But if not, that's fine too. Just get the account.
yeah, the big thing though is I really want to get people involved in some type of easy savings. And Damon, people all the time say, I can't save. I've got to put all my money.
Can't save.
Yeah, I got to put all my money towards paying off this debt. I got to take every available dollar. And so when they don't save as they're getting out of debt, they're just going to land in the exact same situation again. All it takes is a blown tire, engine work, something like that. And where does it go? Back on the cards.
Well, I thought you were going to go somewhere else with that, but the logic is sound, right? When you think about it, like, how can I save $1 when I'm paying 25%? It doesn't make any sense to put $1 in a high yield savings account when that dollar could pay off 25% interest. But here's the fallacy in that thinking, and that is if you assume that you're in a vacuum, and yes, that dollar would only go towards paying off that debt, and you're never going to use those cards, you're never going to spend out of your budget again, then that logic makes sense. But the reality for 97% of people is you're 25 years old and you're using that logic of I can't invest because I got to pay this debt. Before you know it, you blink and you're 45 years old, still using the same logic of I can't invest, I can't save because I have to pay off this debt. So it sounds right in the moment. The math sounds right. Same thing that gets people in trouble when they get consolidation loans because it's a lower interest rate. Same thing. It sounds right. It sounds good. But why doesn't it fix the problem? And why a year or two later do I have more debt than I had when I got the consolidation loan? A lot of people are listening to this going, oh, yeah, that's me. I got more debt than I had before I got that SoFi loan. But that's the problem. You have to develop the habit, because if you use the excuse of I can't save and I can't invest because I have to get out of debt, but you never make the changes necessary to get out of debt, you will never save. You'll just be going through life going, well, I can't save yet. Pretty soon you're going to be 55, staring down retirement and going, shit, I better get something going in a savings account or retirement account. But damn it, I got this $100,000 of debt that you've been trying to pay off over the last 30 years and never got it paid off. So you have to start investing, you have to start saving. And at the same time, if you're carrying consumer debt, you have to get hyper aggressive with it, especially in this kind of an economy.
Yeah, so every week I put into Acorns because I have one of those minor accounts for my granddaughter. So I put
I've got 3 for my kids. Well, 2 because my oldest aged out. He's 19. He has his own account now.
Well, I put $20 a week in there for her, and which is not much. In 40 years.
Oh, but it adds up when they're 6 or 7 years old.
Yeah, well, she's 6. So at age 46, that $20 a week will grow into $312,000.
Yeah, I've sat down and showed all my kids of their accounts and what it is and what we're putting in. And when my oldest son does DoorDash, he sets it aside, and my middle son, he's buys and sells baseball cards, football cards. He makes actually decent money. He umpires as well. He's 17. He's a senior this year. He's actually in Georgia right now playing baseball,
Right.
living his dream. But he puts a lot of money in the Acorns, and we could use shows those projections. And it's like, look, if we just continue this simple stuff, and it's not hard, it's not a lot of money because they're so young. These accounts will have them set. I shouldn't say set, but it will go a long way towards. You will have more money than most people do when you retire if we just keep this small little account going. When you're in your 20s, and with not a lot of money every month. But if you wait until you're 40. Now, you got an uphill climb. It's a bigger chunk out of your income that has to come in. The best gift you can give your kids is an investment account. The best gift. I don't care if they're 2 years old, 5 years old, 15 years old. And Acorns makes it super simple. You can set up your own account, and then you can get what they call Acorns early. It's
that's what
accounts,
that's what she
custodial
has,
accounts
yeah.
for your kids, and just get them teach them at a young age to get excited about seeing that investment grow. Get them excited about saving and investing, or else they're going to get excited about spending.
Right, exactly.
Right? That's the problem. That spending kind of fills our void. We get stressed, so we go shopping. How about let's get stressed, so let's look at our investment account and then feel better.
Well,
I have a whole bunch of money in that account. I feel better. I don't need to go buy
how long have we been doing this Acorns experiment together? More than a year? Less than 2?
Yeah, more. Yeah, we've had Acorns accounts for a couple of years.
Yeah, so
maybe 2 years.
Yeah, her rate of return on her account is 15%. You look at what your local bank pays you for a savings account. You're giving them money.
Acorns, the savings account with Acorns is right now 3.35, I believe. And so why keep money, more than a few bucks in your local bank paying you 0.35% when you would just link that account to your Acorns account, and with Acorns you get an IRA. It's a Roth IRA. You get a high yield savings account, and the rate varies depending on what the Fed's doing. But right now it's at 3.35, which is way more than your local bank.
You also get access.
You get an investment account and a checking account if you want to use that checking account. So you actually get 4 accounts in one for like anywhere from $3 to $12 a month, depending on what suite of accounts you want.
So here's the other part of this and how it relates to debt is somebody is listening right now and they're going, that's a bunch of bullshit. I don't have any money to invest. I can't do that. I'm drowning in this debt. And here's the key question I always want people to ask themselves. And generally they come up with the wrong answer. And I understand why. But okay, you're 40 years old. You're listening to what I'm telling you. Have you considered the fact that maybe you could file bankruptcy today? You could free up a couple grand a month or $1,000 a month. You could start saving next month. You'd be set for life by the time you came to retire. So walk me through exactly, what your situation is. And, most of the time they don't hang up on me like that one woman did on you recently. But people are extremely resistant, and they're extremely resistant because it goes against their assumptions and norms, not because it's wrong.
Well, that's why people call me, right? I help them kind of work through those blockages and have a breakthrough, right? And you are 100% correct in that we act on emotion and assumptions that are most often wrong. And we think about, I don't have any money to invest, I can't invest. But think about, you do have the money to invest, and think about how diligent and focused you've been for years about making sure you invest in Chase and Bank of America and American Express. And every month you're sending $500, $1,000, $2,000 a month without fail, because you don't want it to hurt your fucking FICO score, right? And you've spent 20 years of your life, 10 years of your life, every month consistently giving these banks $1,000, $1,500. You have the discipline, you have the money. You're just choosing to send it to the wrong place. Right. Why would you be that diligent and disciplined on behalf of the bank, but not even care about yourself and your family?
Damon, it's morally
that's
wrong.
That's what you're choosing to do. That's what you're choosing to do.
It's morally wrong for me to do that. But is it more or less morally wrong for you to intentionally and knowingly retire broke? That's what.
So, I mean, these are just assumptions and things that I help clients work through. And we're not here saying everybody that has debt just go file bankruptcy. It doesn't matter. Every situation is different. But what I do is I challenge assumptions, especially erroneous assumptions. And then we work through it based on your specific situation. And a lot of it is just about coming up with a plan. It's like, okay, I hear what you guys are saying. Yeah, I love the idea of getting out of debt. And I love the idea of saving, but I barely have enough money every month, or I'm upside down every month. I'm almost maxed out. I don't know step by step what to do. If only there was a guy that could show you. If only.
Well, and
I could pick up the phone.
Yeah.
If only.
And DamonDay.com, DAMONDAY.com. But the big hurdle for somebody is, okay, if they come to the realization, I need to do something different, then again, because of emotion, because of where they are, mentally right then, they're either depressed or lost, alone, afraid, confused, don't know what to do, analysis paralysis, all those things, they just stop. But what we're telling people for free, there's no course to buy, no nothing. There is a almost free, pretty much free. I mean, the management fee on the Dow index fund, like Damon's invested in, I think is 0.03%. So that's not nothing, but it's pretty much nothing. Easy way for you to tuck away money and start to invest. Now, I have perfect proof on this whole emotional hurdle or wall that people hit, because earlier this morning I was looking over the 300 or so Ask Steve chat sessions that I've had on the website in the past month. Mm-hmm. And probably 80 to 90% of them will just stop midstream and never finish the chat because
Squirrel.
They were hit with a question they didn't want to face.
Ah, so you haven't been hung up on, but AI Steve gets hung up on all the time.
Well, it's like that question, but have you considered this? And then
Hey, click.
Yeah, click. So I get hung up on all the time. But it's working through what I most want, I guess, is for people not to leap towards bankruptcy. You're right. We're not advocating bankruptcy for everybody. But I want people to explore all of the options and then make a good decision. You and I, Damon, both have known people in our lives where you will ask a question and there will be an immediate emotional response. And I think that, I can speak for myself, being a former search and rescue pilot, that when you're flying the plane and everything's hitting the fan, you don't need to panic. You need to work the problem one step at a time. And it's the same sort of thing here when dealing with your finances and your debt. You don't need to leap to do something. You don't need to jump into a program with the first person you call. You don't need to click on an ad.
That's how people get in trouble.
Absolutely.
They wait to make a decision until they feel like they have to make a decision because they don't have enough money. They're maxed out on credit cards and they're like, oh my gosh, I'm going to miss payments. And now I'm in a panic mode rather than addressing it before they get to that point. And then they end up jumping into some debt settlement program or something else because they're afraid of bankruptcy or the guy sounds really good or whatever. And then you end up getting a text message or a help request like I got the other day. Right, Steve?
Yeah.
So quick story time. There was somebody I spoke with back in 2021, and we went over a situation, younger guy, and he should file bankruptcy. It made total sense. I told him what the alternatives were, but he didn't have the financials to make any of the alternatives make sense. He didn't want to do that though. So, and which is fine. It's his choice. I always tell clients, it's like, hey, look, this is your money. It's your life. It's your credit. So my job is not to tell you what you have to do and beat it into your head. Right. My job is to tell you what I think you should do and why you should do it. But if you don't want to do it, here's some options. And here's what you're going to have to do to avoid this thing that you don't want to do. And so anyway, he kind of followed this pattern, but he didn't want to do what I suggested. And so every couple of months I'd get a text message from him. And it was just, well, I was thinking about this, or what about this? Like, it just kind of kept trying to find ways for me to agree.
He wanted
that,
to
you can do
negotiate
that.
with you.
Well, yeah, but it's like I had no horse in that race. It was like, you don't have to. So anyway, this went on for like 2 years. Every couple of months, I'd get a random text. I'd consider it, and I'd tell him why it wasn't a good idea and why he needs to do what I originally told him. Unless something changed. And then I didn't hear from him for about a year, and I get this text out of the blue after a year. Hey, I got another job. I'm making more money now. So now he's basically saying he can't file bankruptcy.
Yeah.
Of course, if he would have done it 2 years ago when I told him to, we wouldn't even be talking about any of this stuff. He'd have this great new job and have plenty of money and no debt. But he didn't. He drug his feet and slogged away and pissed away a whole bunch of money. And that's fine. I mean, again, it's not my life. It's yours. So, who am I to judge? Whatever. You want to spend a whole bunch of money?
You do you, boo.
Whatever. So anyway, then he says, so now I think I want to settle the debt. I want to hire this debt settlement company. He gave me the name of the company. And I said, no. And at this point, I was kind of like, okay, I got to be just as direct as possible because this has been 2 years now. I got to help help a brother out, right? Like just be super direct because, trying to be PC about and I said, no, do not hire this company. It is a bad idea. This company charges a hell of a lot of money and they don't do a good job. They got bad reviews all over the place. I don't think you should settle your debt right now. But if you really want to settle your debt, just call me and I'll help you settle your debt. I'm a lot better at it and I'm a lot cheaper at it. And I was just direct with it. I'm like, if you insist on doing this, I don't think it's a good idea. But at least let me help you with it so we have a fighting chance of doing this the correct way. So I was super direct about do not hire them if you really want. And this is 3 years later, right? Just hire me. And of course, no response. Don't hear from the guy for like 3 years. 2023, I think that was. I got a text message or a help request. Not even a text message. Maybe he lost my phone number. I don't know. A help request from the website. And I recognized the name. And I went and I did a search in my file. I'm like, oh, this is this person.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. And the help request just basically said this. I'm halfway through a debt settlement program and I'm not happy. I need help.
Who would have seen that?
And it's one of those, I just slapped my head. And to be honest with you, I didn't even respond. I'm like, you know what, dude? I've given you 4 years of telling you the same thing, even super direct. No, you're just wasting my time now. At a certain point, it's like, I can't help you. You've spent 5 years doing the exact opposite of everything that I've told you. And he's not a client of mine. He's just a guy who keeps texting me, right? So I'm like, I'm responding. So he's not even a client, right? It's not like I have an obligation to help him. But it's just like, why would I keep investing time when you're just going to do, maybe I should respond and just tell him, yeah, you should stay with that program. And then he'll immediately cancel and get out of it. Because he always does the opposite of what I tell him.
Yeah.
So I'll just do some reverse psychology and be like, you know what you should do? Stick with it. And then he'll be like, no, they suck. I'm not happy. I'm quitting. Oh, darn.
I've told the story about the woman who did a consult with me back in the day, and she went through her whole situation. And I said to her at the end, I think you covered the bases, and I think you've got a good plan. And she got pissed and hung up on me. But before she did, she goes, but I already knew that.
Then why are you calling me? If you know exactly what to do and you're confident in that decision, why are you reaching out for help?
And why haven't you done it?
Because you're not as confident as you think you are, and you weren't until I told you. Yeah, but sometimes that's all you really need. It's not like, bankruptcy is this magic idea that you've never heard of, or debt settlement's this magic idea that you never heard of. It's not about a client calls me and I go, okay, are we going to Dave Ramsey bankruptcy or settle? There's a hell of a lot more to it than that, So it's not like, well, I already knew about debt settlement. But did you, though? Maybe you called a couple of debt settlement companies and you got a squeamish feeling in your stomach when you talk to them. You're like, I don't know what it is, but something ain't right.
Well, and if somebody calls a debt settlement company and they listen to the pitch and then they get that feeling, this is the solution, this is the person, they're not making a decision based on the math or the facts. They're making a decision based on they believe this will help them to emotionally feel less stress and better, like it's taken care of.
They're usually making the decision based on, I've looked at my bills next month. I don't have enough money to cover everything. No. This nice person on the phone is telling me that all I have to do is sign this form and they're going to save me $400 a month. And that sounds really good. So I'm going to do that. That's usually why they get into these programs. If they talk to me first and I break down how those programs work, and then I look at their situation specifically and I tell them not necessarily why they shouldn't settle their debt. Settlement works all the time if you are in the right circumstances for it to work. But it is a horrible strategy if you're in the wrong situation for settlement. And the wrong situation is, oh, let's not pay our credit cards for 4 years and hope we can get all this stuff negotiated while you slowly save money. That is not the way you settle debt, but that's the way these companies pitch it, because if you're paying $1,000 a month and they make up a number and say they can lower that to $600, that sounds really good. And I mean, you can sell that even if you're a shitty salesperson. How could you not sell, hey, you're paying $1,000. If you sign this form, you only have to pay $600. Right. If that's actually true, they should be able to sell every single person that calls in, and they try. No matter what your situation is, they will fucking try to sell it.
I had a person come into the chat this week. Again, these things drive me crazy. He's 88 years old in an assisted living facility.
Oh, no, I know where this is going.
Signed up for a debt settlement program. And the chat asked Steve, based on my 30 plus years of experience, asked him,
on the getoutofdebt.org website,
yes.
Getoutofdebt.org, you can go and you can chat with AI Steve, which is actually really good. I sometimes chat with AI Steve when I know Steve's in bed and I'm up.
You just look for the answer.
Steve on the West Coast, so I'll sometimes chat with AI Steve, knowing he'll get the form and he can look at it.
Well, so asked him, can you call the settlement company and ask them these questions? And he said, no, I can't. So it went on to, is there somebody at your assisted living facility who could call on your behalf and ask these questions?
Are you in danger right now?
Right, exactly. It actually prompted him with the, are you in danger questions. So how did he, I mean, I know how we got sold into it, but my God, we're talking about people are worried about filing bankruptcy because it's not moral.
Yeah.
Where were the morals selling this guy into a program?
Yeah. But the problem is these salespeople use that built-in emotion and misconceptions about bankruptcy, right? And those options, like, well, you don't want to file bankruptcy.
The worst thing.
This program is an alternative to bankruptcy, and we're going to save you. But it's like, okay, let's look at the math. Someone that's 65 years old, no retirement, has $100,000 in debt, and is in a situation where they could qualify for a Chapter 7, let's say. Okay, well, maybe it's $2,500, depending on where you're at in the country, to hire an attorney and file the bankruptcy, and that $100,000 goes away, and then maybe you've got 5 or 10 years left of working, and now all that extra money, that $3,000 a month that you were pissing away for the last 10 years, that could have been in retirement, can now at least go towards something. But then some salesman gets on the phone. Oh, no, you don't want to do that. You're going to be a failure. You don't want to file bankruptcy. That's the last resort. We can get you into this program, and you're paying $3,000 a month. And I know that's tough, but we can get that payment down to like $2,300 a month. We could get all this stuff negotiated. And now you just spend, if it even works out, best case scenario, you spend the next 4 to 5 years, the last 4 to 5 years of your working years, paying this company $2,500 a month to hopefully negotiate all this debt. You add the fees and all that, then you add the taxes potentially due on the settlements, and you end up paying $85,000 damn dollars. Did you save some money? Sure. Yeah, you saved some money. You saved the $15,000 plus the interest, so it's good.
But what you lost.
You saved some money, but the other alternative that they were not even wanting you to even consider would have gotten you out of that debt 5 years sooner for $2,500, but instead you got sold on the idea of you should spend your last working years giving all your extra money to this company so you can spend $85,000 instead of $2,500. At least looking at that math, don't you think it makes sense to at least consider?
Right.
At least, well, tell me a little bit more about this so I can make a more informed decision, because the difference in what I'm going to have to pay between these two options in this scenario is, $82,500, and I've got no savings and I'm about to retire. Maybe I should consider $82,000. And then you start worrying about your FICO score. We did an episode about a month ago called Fuck the FICO, and it was very popular. I'm still getting people calling me. I heard the Fuck the FICO and I wanted to call you because you're going to tell me the truth, right?
Yeah.
you start getting into that math and you go, okay, if I'm going to save $80,000, do I care? How much do I care about that FICO score? What am I doing with that FICO score over the next couple of years? I know we want to have a good FICO. I'm not an advocate for screwing your FICO just for the sake of screwing your FICO. I'm not a Dave Ramsey type that says go through life without a credit score. It's a hell of a lot easier to go through life with a good credit score. But sometimes the cost isn't worth it. And sometimes giving up that good credit score for 2 or 3 years is worth $80,000 or whatever the situation is. So
and
it's not about...
Let's base this on facts, because even the Federal Reserve Bank has said that those people who file bankruptcy or eliminate their debt quickly do better financially in the long run than those who just let it trickle along.
100%. You know, if you're in so much debt, nobody's going to give you a loan anyway. What does it matter what your FICO number is? You can't get a loan. You know, or you have like the lady the other day that I was talking to, right? That was like, that absolutely 100% needs to file bankruptcy. But again, I can't force you to do it. You might text me for years after trying to prove me wrong. And in the end, just prove me right and then wish you would have done what I told you 5 years ago, and this problem would have been gone.
It's like our investing experiment, right? Somebody goes, I'm going to prove them wrong, and puts in, you know, money in their investment account, and then comes out with a 50% return.
Yeah. But you know, we all have these things in our head. Like, she was so adamant about not wanting to file bankruptcy, and she checked every box of why she should file the bankruptcy with age, income, amount of debt she had, no retire. Everything was boom, 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 boom. Simple Chapter 7. And I know sometimes it'll take some time to absorb that, but everything I said, I got a yeah, but this, and that's fine. That's how you start working through things. But when she hit me with the, well, if I have bad credit, my insurance rates might go up. And I paused because I'm like, I wanted to be delicate with my response because I understand that I've been
wait. I think you left out the best part.
Which is the best part?
Where doesn't she say, but I've worked so hard to get where I am today?
No, that was a different client.
Okay.
I got all kinds, bro.
Damn.
Well, I shouldn't say client. She wasn't a client. She was just, you know, called in for free advice and didn't like my advice and hung up on me. That was a different one. Which is fine. I mean, again, it's not my life. It's yours. I don't have a horse in that race. You don't want to take my advice after 25 years because you don't want to hear the truth. Okay, you can hang up on me all you want. You know, sucks for you. I don't know. You do you, boo. No, but she hit me with my insurance might go up. And this particular person had $100,000 in debt. No way of paying it off, really. And I stopped and I was like, look, it is possible. You are right. If you have bad insurance, or if you have bad credit, some insurance companies may raise your rates. And I said, look, I filed bankruptcy. I've had bad credit in my life. I've never, and now I've had State Farm all my life, so I don't know. But I've never had State Farm reach out to me or anything and say, hey, I'm sorry, but you know, we did a random credit check and your rates have gone up just because of your credit. Right. It's never happened ever. Now, does it happen? Yeah, it does happen. But I told her, I said, okay, you're paying $3,000 a month right now servicing this debt. If you're worried, if the worst case scenario is we get rid of this debt and you have to pay an extra $50 a month on an insurance premium for your car, as a worst case scenario, is that so? It wasn't that. It was she was just in her mind was already dead set against that filing of bankruptcy, and so she was grasping at straws. Like she was just emotionally grasping at. Well, what about this? What about this? What about this? That's fine. And we can address all those things. But when we take the emotion out of it, nobody in their right mind, if they're looking at it as a consultant for somebody else and they're not the ones that are dealing with the decision, no single person in their right mind is going to go, okay, on my left hand, I can spend $3,000 a month servicing this debt and I can keep my $200 a month car insurance premium where it's at. But if I get rid of this $3,000 a month, this $200 might go to $250. It might say $200. But it might go to $250. Oh shit! I don't want to pay $250 on my insurance. No. Let's stay in the debt. Like that's where she was at mentally because she was so stuck. Yep. Right. And so what I want to do is help people get unstuck. And again, the decision you make is up to you. You're the one spending the $3,000 a month, not me. And so and even you got to realize a non-decision. There's people listening to this podcast have been listening for months and thinking about calling and what about this and what about this and I can figure this out on my own. I don't need any help.
All right.
Every month that goes by that you don't have a better solution is costing you $1,000, $2,000, whatever it is you're paying. A non-decision to act and change your
Still a
situation
decision.
is a decision to not act and not change your
Yeah.
situation. And it's usually the worst and most expensive decision you can make, but you're in that paralysis of analysis. I had somebody call the other day. I talked to him, went over all the stuff, and clients have the ability to hire me if they need extra help after that free phone call, in an advisory role where we can really dig into the numbers and put together an actual strategy and a plan to getting out of whatever the situation that they're in. Because you can't do all that in one phone call. You can get a kind of a high level overview, but I'm not a debt settlement company where it's like, okay, I'm going to know you for 5 minutes. I'm going to tell you boom, boom, boom. And then I'm going to sell you some program that, after 20 minutes and make you make some major financial decision. Well, that's what salespeople do. They want to quickly get you to a decision point, sign the contract, and start giving them a whole bunch of money every month. The situation that you're in is going to take a lot longer than that to really not only figure it out, but have you kind of wrap your head around it because you've been living in the, in this situation. And so I had somebody the other day I talked to, and we went over their situation was not really that complicated for me, but and so when they got off the call, I was like, well, if you want my help, I'll send you some information, and you don't have to decide right now or anything, but you can, let me know, just circle back with me, send me a text if you want me to help you through all this stuff. Okay, no problem. And then I didn't hear from him for a couple of months, and I don't have time. Like you're not going to get like all of this, hey, did you get this? Are you going to hire me? It's like, you either hire me or you don't. It's fine. Right. I got way too many people asking for help. I don't have time. I don't have like salespeople that work.
Yeah, and you're doing all those free calls and helping people.
Yeah. So anyway, I got a text message from him a couple months later, and he was just like, yeah, I really appreciated that time that you gave me a lot of things to think about. And he's like, I really want to hire you, but I'm not sure how I'm going to solve this debt problem yet. So I'm going to keep thinking about it, but I just want to let you know that I'm still thinking about hiring you, but I just don't know what to do yet. And I said, okay, I understand, but remember, the reason you should hire me is to help you solve the thing that you've been struggling with for the last 3 months, right? People always, they're so used to somebody selling them a program or a product or something like that. Like, well, I'm not sure if I want to go bankrupt. I'm not sure if I want to settle my debt. I'm not sure if I need to keep it. That's why you hire me in the first place, to help you figure that out. And people sometimes, they just get that mixed up. And when I sent that message back to him, he goes, yeah, you know what? That makes a lot of sense. Can you send me that engagement letter again? Right. And he hired me because he realized that it's like, oh yeah, the reason to hire him is I've been struggling with this for months, and everything he says makes sense. Yeah, he needs to help me work through this thought process because I need him to help me figure out what to do. Because it's not like you need me to tell you, well, you have bankruptcy and you have settlement, you have this. That's not what it is. You can get that from ChatGPT. Right. What it is how do we take your specific circumstances with where you're at in life and what your goals are, and how do we accomplish those goals, right? And then we put together a strategy around that. Yeah. We build it from the ground up rather than say, which shoebox are you going to fit?
Well, it's based on
fit into the bankruptcy shoebox or whatever.
Based on facts and not fear and emotion.
Well, and that's the other thing. You have to work through it, right? You have to say, okay, if I file bankruptcy, what does that look like? How does that affect me? How does that affect my credit? How does that affect my wife? How does that affect my kids? How does that affect my future and my FICO? These are all questions that you need answers to, and they're very specific to your situation. So I can walk you through. Well, if you filed bankruptcy, this is what your life is going to look like for the next couple of years, pros, cons. Everything that we do is going to require some kind of sacrifice, no matter what you do. Even continuing the status quo requires a sacrifice. You're spending $2,000 a month continuing the status quo. That's a big ass sacrifice, right? So no matter what, we're going to have to make some modifications, and you're going to have to sacrifice. So it's just a matter of what things are you willing to sacrifice. Because, for instance, I'll get people that say, no matter what, I'm not filing bankruptcy. That's a red line. Okay, yeah. Again, not my life. It's your life. So that's okay. So let's talk about it. And then I'll start going through, okay, if if you can qualify for bankruptcy, this is what it would look like. And if you don't want to do that, this is what we're going to have to do. These are a couple options available. We can avoid the bankruptcy, and this is what your life's going to look like, and this is how much it's going to cost, and this is what you're going to have to sacrifice. And I've found over the years, and it's kind of funny, everybody that's ever told me I'm never going to file bankruptcy, it's not, well, as I start going through what they'll have to do to avoid it, everybody has a line. Right. And it depends on where that line is, but when we get to, okay, you're going to have to cut this much out of your budget
I
in order
can't
to
do that.
avoid the bankruptcy. And I start going, so, and then I can't do that. I can't live like that. But then I always bring up, look, okay, let's say you make $100,000 a year. It's like, do you know there's people in your state that make $40,000 a year? Yeah. Okay. Well, those people aren't dead.
Right.
They live, they survive. Now they make $40,000 a year. The difference is they are living a life that you would look at and say, oh my gosh, I can never do that. But you could. You could get out of that nice house that you're in. You could start taking the bus
take the kids
instead of
out
having a
at
car.
school.
Yeah, you could. Yeah, exactly. But that's your line, right? You found the line that you're not. It's not that you can't do it, because technically you could live in a van down by the river if you really wanted to, right? People do, right? So there is a line, and I just have to help that client find where that line is, and then they go back to, well, I really didn't want to settle my debt, or I really didn't want to fall behind, or I really didn't want to screw my FICO, I really didn't want to do bankruptcy, but I also really don't want to live in a van down by the river.
And you missed one of my favorite ones, which is once you walk someone through the facts of their situation, and let's just say it's bankruptcy. They came to you, it's morally reprehensible, I refuse to do it, blah, blah, blah. And by the end of the conversation, they say, they've started with, I have a moral obligation to repay all of this that I borrowed. And you get to the end of the conversation and you say, well, if you file bankruptcy, there's nothing that stops you from repaying your creditors. You're more than welcome to do that if you want. There's no obligation. And I have never had a person say to me, yes, that's what I want to do. They always go, why would I want to do that?
I already went bankrupt. Why would I want to give them the money back? I don't know. You said you wanted to.
You said this was your red line.
And my job is not to judge or to tell you where your line should be. My job is just help you find the line. Right. And we may find the line where someone might say, yeah, I'm so against settlement and hurting my FICO that I will live if that's what it takes based on my income and what I owe, I will live in a van down by the river for a couple of years so I can pay this in full. And that's fine. Again, I'm not living in the van down by the river. That's your decision. But my job is to help you find that line so you can make the best decision for you and your family. Or I'll have somebody says, how in the hell can I Dave Ramsey it and get myself a roommate? My wife and kids wouldn't be too, enthusiastic about some stranger living in our house or whatever.
Yeah.
Or I told the story a couple months ago where I had a guy who was trying to Dave Ramsey his way out for a couple of years. And remember, he told me the story. He actually got a roommate. He lived by himself. He wasn't with his family, but he got a roommate, supposed to pay him like, I don't know, $600 a month or $900 a month, all part of the, going through his baby steps or whatever. And the guy moved in and then never paid rent, but was, bumming off his food and all that stuff. And then the guy had to spend a whole bunch of money trying to get the guy evicted out of there. And it was just like, it was the disaster because it cost me so much money to have to and go through all that. Can you imagine living in your house and there's some guy that's just not paying you, basically, F you. I'm not going to pay
and you got to
in your house,
face
whatever.
him every day.
Exactly. It's as if that wasn't bad enough. He's in your house now. Your house.
Right.
There's other ways we could get out of debt rather than, living a totally shitty life.
Well, and on that note, if you have any questions, you want a free call, talk to Damon, run it through with him. You want to get that referral code for Acorns. I forgot which nut I was talking about. Then
different show.
Yeah, just go to Damon Day, DamonDay.com. On that note, Damon, I will see ya.
Yeah, I'm an expert on keeping you from living a shitty life. Peace.